Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today in this outreach session of Venture Challenge 5.0, where we are discussing upon transforming startups and the opportunity in New India, where we would like to discuss upon trends on tech startups for this 2022 year. What are the opportunities, challenges, and market aspect is there for tech startups and non-tech startups, right? And what are the more opportunities or government schemes, or what are the funding opportunities are there for a next generation startups. So I would like to welcome first of all Ms. Shiba Khan, CEO of AIC Shiv Nadar University. Hello Shima, welcome to the
Hi,
session.
Gulati.
Yes.
Pleasure joining this session.
Also, I would like to thank you, all of our panel experts for the today's session, Mr. Anubhav Tiwari, who is head of Deep Tech and MedTech Incubator at IIT Hyderabad, Ms. Karuna Kanwar, Program Manager at IHUB DivyaSampark from IIT Roorkee, and Rahul Gulati, Program Manager at Github. So we are so excited to have lots of fun, like crunches on knowing the opportunities and like so much things on tech-based startups for leveraging for this 2022 year. So over to you, Shiba. Thank you.
Hi, thanks, Bugdashi. It's a pleasure joining here today, and a very warm welcome to all the panel. Anubhav, Karuna, and Rahul. It's a pleasure to host you here. Uh, and also everyone who's joined the session, a warm welcome. And we hope that this session brings a lot of learning and connections and networks for you. So as we know that this session is a part of our Venture Challenge, the annual call for applications for startups. The Venture Challenge is a closed door event where we try to handpick the startups in certain areas. This year, we have certain defined areas like Industry 4.0, robotics and RPA, health tech, edtech, agri-tech. We are also looking forward for life sciences, additive manufacturing, space tech, and some e-mobility and allied areas. So we look forward for startup ideas in these areas. And this is not just if there is something around which is highly tech focused or some disruptive technology, we'll be we'll be more than happy to take that idea and explore it. The team is also very important when we are selecting the idea. Of course, the uniqueness of the innovation of the idea is important, but yeah, the team is also very important, how competent enough the team is. So that will also be one of the criteria while we are choosing the startups during this whole challenge. We are part of Atal Innovation Mission of Niti Aayog, Government of India. We are also funded by Startup India Seed Fund Scheme. We closely work with various corporates, and the USP which we try to bring for the startup is, of course, the kind of corporate inclusion in their whole journey or the value chain they are creating. We believe that startup journey as an incubation center, we can be more towards a facilitator, and we definitely bring some corporates and investors to make this whole journey a successful and scalable. As an incubation center based out of Shiv Nadar University, we hold a quite promising setup of functional, operational, we can say a 24/7 facility which we provide to the startups. 150 plus labs and 9 research centers are all there to use for. And of course, if there is something alignment which we do not hold, we definitely hold a very good network of other AICs and corporate R&D centers to take you up. With this, I think we definitely should quickly move to our eminent speakers today who will be discussing their whole journey. So we have Karuna from as a program manager at IHUB, DivyaSampark at IIT Roorkee. Welcome, Karuna. It's a pleasure to have you here. Karuna is currently associated with IIT Roorkee as a program manager at IHUB. She holds 5+ years of experience. She has been associated with IIT Roorkee in various roles. IIT Roorkee is also supporting startups from this innovation ecosystem by focusing on startups who are working in deep tech technology and especially in the cyber physical systems. Our next speaker is Anubhav. Hi, Anubhav. Good to see you. Anubhav is a head of Deep Tech and MedTech Incubation Center at CIIE-IIT Hyderabad. Anubhav has nearly a decade of experience helping startups scale through various innovation initiatives and acceleration programs. He currently heads the Deep Tech and MedTech Incubation Center at IIIT Hyderabad. He has the center has a three-way co-innovation model that brings corporate research and startups together to co-build the whole ecosystem. CII is India's largest and oldest academic incubation center. Anubhav has been recently appointed at the Indian Oil Startup Fund Committee. He's also the Hyderabad City lead for Headstart Network Foundation. Our third speaker of the panel is Rahul. Hi, Rahul. So good to see you here. Rahul is the program manager at GitHub. Rahul also is currently associated as a program manager and is working towards improving and supporting the Indian startup ecosystem from the last 7 years. He also holds the experience of founding and working in his own startup, Roorkee. Welcome, welcome all of you and the audience. I hope that we make some great dialogue and takeaways from today's session. Anubhav, my first question, of course, is for you. In between, if anybody has anything to express, Anubhav, Karuna, Rahul, we can do that. I have been talking a lot.
Hi, Shiva, I have a question. The main objective of this panel discussion is to understand how startups can evolve in the 21st century, like mostly in India, right? So won't it be putting the innovation harnessing of new startups or yet to scale startups at somewhat of a moderate risk, compared to what is actually being seen with respect to Silicon Valley's kind of startups in the US?
Madhuri, if what I understood is exactly what we are here to, what you are trying to express. It's nothing bifurcated, that will not be supporting any ideation startup or the terms which you have used here. Rahul, Karuna, and Abhinav can add on to this more. Yeah. All right. I think I'll just move directly to Anubhav with this question. IIIT Hyderabad has created.
I was. Sorry, Shiba. I was about to plus one that thing that we are not supporting ideation companies and tissue paper companies where the ideas are being told, because a lot of these ideas, they don't see a market. Sorry for the sound. I'm just in between something. So a lot of these ideas, they don't see the daylight when it comes to turning into a product company or a services company, because the whole enthusiasm comes to a halt when somebody working in a job, doing a job, and has some interesting ideas, and then eventually what they do is, after brainstorming with 10-15 people, and then later on it somehow goes to a cold burner. So unless you are a full-fledged company, you have shown some traction, or there is some product, MVP level product ready, and we see the skin in the game, we don't consider it as something that we need to support as a incubator.
So Anubhav, I have a question for you. So my idea is actually to do a micro-financing, micro-lending kind of chatbot with features that we can build on Microsoft Azure. And I'm in the process of building it, and like the team is working. So is it also part of the ideation stage startup which is gaining traction with other mid and entrepreneurs, or see that as an outlier?
At which stage? At which stage are you? Like, is the MVP ready, or the model is working? Whatever you're trying, is there something to show apart from a PPT or?
Yeah, so that will be ready in another 3.
Then that's fine. That stage, until unless you have something ready, we are fine to support it.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So Madhuri, the point is that if your idea, if you have worked on to a level that there is just not an idea what he tried to explain, that it's a PPT presentation more towards rather than having something in hand. Of course, when I say it's a venture challenge, you are competing with another 200-300 lot. So you need to be better than the rest to qualify and get the incubation support. Another point is that if you are in a very early stage, a pre-incubation setup would suit you more if the idea is quite promising. We do run a pre-incubation setup. The ones which we find could not qualify for the incubation program, they can surely be asked to come up for another round of pitching, and we try to get into the ones who could not make it to the final rounds and look into that. So I think that answers to your question, Madhuri. We can move to quickly to the questions for the panelists because we are already out of like 20 minutes past that I was speaking. So, hi Karuna, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Hi, Shiba.
Hi Karuna. So, Karuna, this is a question for you. You are leading a lot more programs and initiatives, partnerships, and other allied projects around supporting and nurturing startups. So, what are the boosting opportunities that are there for early stage or ideation stage startups at IIT Roorkee? We'd be happy to hear that. The follow-up question, of course, is could you also share some very good schemes or grants which can be availed by potential startups to scale along being part of the IT Rookie's incubation program?
Okay, so Shiba, I was just listening and I just heard the question also. So far, the discussion is more about incubation. So let me first introduce what IHUB DivyaSampark is all about, right?
Sure.
So
Great.
this is a Section 8 company and it is established by Government of India. It is under the National Mission of Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems and it is run by DST, of course, and our funding is by government. So we actually are not directly an incubator, right? So this is, I can say that we are by default an incubator, but this is more of a hub. So incubation and promoting innovation, entrepreneurship, that is one aspect that we deal in. So we don't, as if now, by default, we are an incubator, but we are trying to be more flexible. So we have tried and successfully established relations with many colleges, universities, and incubators across India, just to make it sure that all the best startups, the quality startups can reach out to us. So sometimes I've seen that startups don't prefer coming to Roorkee and working over there, right? Location issue is always there. So people prefer that, okay, I may go to Bangalore, my startup can flourish over there, or maybe Delhi NCR. So to overcome all those challenges, we purely have made it flexible that wherever you want to incubate, you can incubate. Whichever incubator you want to go ahead with that, you please go ahead with that. We will be coming there as a venture capitalist, sort of venture capitalist. We are not, we'll be providing you funding, we'll be providing you technical support, other expertise which you can get from IITs, IIT Roorkee, and plus other IITs also, right? So this is the whole idea of this iHub. So we are not just limited to an incubator. And I think as for what we are trying to do right now, we are also not trying to limit till an incubator. So we want that many incubators should connect to us, and we will be acting as a hub. So we will be we can provide funding, of course. We have connections to other VCs and angel investors, so we can connect the second stage of funding through them also. So, and of course, technical expertise and the expertise from IIT Roorkee would always be there if there is something, lab setup or any other expertise you require, that we can provide. Another benefit which a startup can avail from us is that we are government supported. So many times I've seen that startups don't actually require money. If there is a good startup, they'll have a lot of investors who will be willing to invest in them, right? So the problem comes is with data. So as like if you're working in medical devices, so data is a challenge. You won't get easily, all the access to those data with the government hospitals and all. And of course, the maximum data can be obtained from government hospitals. So there we can play a good role because this is directly controlled by Niti Aayog, and we are in link with all these ministries for these problem statements. So the startups can avail benefit from us in that perspective also. So I think there are a lot of opportunities which we can help the startups with, and the government, it's not just us, the government has established 25 IHUBs all over India. So every IHUB has a special domain, a specific domain in which they work. So for IIT Roorkee, that domain is devices, materials, and technology. So the broader area is cyber physical systems, and inside that cyber physical system, our specific area would be devices, materials, and technology. So since this is a very vast domain, we have identified 3 specific domains for us, in order to make it more specific. So right now we work in smart cities, then we work in medical devices, or you can say smart medical devices. And the third would be Industry 4.0. So what we aim at is that we want to make healthcare more accessible, more affordable. So any startup who wants to work in that domain, they're most welcomed. And I think cyber physical system is the only constraint we are having right now. Other than that, we are very flexible, we are very open for all the changes which we can organize, right? Our management, our operation system is very flexible. So you were talking about the opportunities which we supported right now at present. So for incubation stage, I think we have specifically designed a program which is specifically for incubation. So somebody, if he wants to work in that pre-incubation mode and incubation mode, so they are most welcome. But as I mentioned, that we don't prefer going for incubation, as in we want that IIT Roorkee also has a separate incubator. So we definitely try and connect with them, and incubation can be done through them. We generally act as an investor. Second is that we have planned a way in sense that early stage ideas which are there. So normally it doesn't, if somebody wants to move in the field of entrepreneurship, he wants to be an entrepreneur. So we have not restricted it to the graduates or something. So we have created steps for that. So the very initial step is a UG fellow. So we have a Chanakya UG fellow program where somebody with any idea, it doesn't matter that he should have a prototype or a MVP or a, he just needs to have an idea and a will that he wants to work in that field. So if he's a UG student and he wishes to work in that, we provide a fellowship to them and they can just go on working on their idea. Then EIR, I think all the incubators have that EIR program. I just want to mention it that ours is slightly flexible. We don't go for that prototype thing. We don't ask that you should have a prototype, that okay, first you show us a proof of concept, and then we are going to support you for the EIR. So I think we have kept it very clear that if you have an idea which is supported by a good number of facts and figures, and you wish to work on that, and you're already a graduate, so you cannot go for our UG fellowship. So there comes the role of this EIR. So we go ahead with this EIR. And finally, for the incubation parts, the startup funding part, we have a program called PUNK. So right now we have kept a funding of up to 50 lakhs as a seed amount of funding. But I think that varies. As I told, that our operations is very flexible. If you have a good idea and we feel that, okay, we can gain from this idea, our company is going to benefit, then we'll go ahead with that. And based on the whatever the figures you are going to project and our due diligence, what we'll make, that amount of seed funding can also vary. So this is not defined by the Prayas scheme and all. So we have our very own different policy and we work with that. So our funding support can vary. Anything else?
Sorry, I was muted. So Karuna, I think that's amazing. We own a lot of similarities and synergies as an incubation center who are supporting technology and more towards building a startup ecosystem
with no boundaries attached. I think that's amazing to hear that you support startups in a bigger way rather than just restricting to physical supports and what typically an incubation center is doing. I'll quickly move back to Abhinav. I'll come back to Karuna again. Abhinav, now can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Anubhav, this question is about your alignment and association with Triple IT Hyderabad. That how Triple IT Hyderabad has created a momentum to support health tech startups through OJIS, MedTech Bionest. Can you just share some of the insights what you hold as a center that supports health tech startups?
Sure, Shiba. Pleasure connecting with you. Thank you, Karuna. Whatever Karuna told, you know what? There's not much extra that any incubator does. All most of us do the same thing. We just name it different programs. The EIR thing in OJS PEP is known as PEP, which is called postdoctoral entrepreneurship program. It is nothing but it's a support in the EIR model only. So we have, you know, certain set of programs that we run through government funds and we run through on our own initiatives, but not lot of difference is there between each incubator running the program. The kind of support mechanism the accelerator provide, you know what, there are only three things that a startup need, whether it is funding, customer connect, corporate connect, or you know, helping with them with their hiring, marketing strategy. So there is nothing much beyond that you can do. How effectively each incubator is doing, that's where the difference comes into picture. So now in OJS, so we started back in 2019, just a year before pandemic. So CI itself is a very old incubator. I mean, one of the oldest and the largest academic incubator. We started back in 2008, similar to the time when IIM Ahmedabad CIIE started. So ours is called Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. IIM Ahmedabad is called Center for Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship. So that's the, and both these entities started around the similar time back in 2007-8. And that the same time when Headstart also, you know, was formed. So the ecosystem started evolving from there, that time itself. Not that businesses didn't exist before that. The fancy term around, you know, startup and fast scaling and all that came into picture. And that's how our motto was that how many students can start up from Triple IT? Unfortunately, not many, because for a 21-year-old to decide between a crazy lucrative package and go through an entrepreneurship journey, it's very difficult. So they always choose to go towards the job. So we opened the incubator for everyone else. And since 2012-13, we had 64 plus startups, 64 to 65 startups. And we haven't, by that time, we haven't started investing in startups. So back in 2014, when the bifurcation of the state happened and Triple IT was the founder of IHUB, if you have heard of, one of the largest incubators in India. So then CI's focus went on to early stage companies where we can nurture them, we can help them with funds. But most importantly was we are a technology research institution. So how can there are 42 incubators in Hyderabad. So if we have to be and all 42 are very well connected to each other. The Hyderabad ecosystem is very closely knit. So any startup can get support from any of these incubators just over a WhatsApp message. The one incubator referring to other one. So our focus was more on technology research. So we thought, how can we support startups? Apart from money, what is that special thing that Triple IT can give? What is that expertise? So we thought if the professors of Triple IT, it's not a very very fancy or innovative or new model. IIT Madras also does it. Most of the tech institution does it, taking help from the professors and research labs and helping with that help to enabling startups to set up their initial tech product and helping them with the initial algorithms and other things. So that was the focus area. How can a startup be backed by research with some funds? That's the interest. So when CI is a big umbrella under which there are three incubators: Atal Incubation Center which focuses on social impact, MedTech, which focuses on life sciences and health tech startups, and then the Deep Tech one, which is the oldest, started back in 2008. So our model is basically to support them with funds and research by the research centers of IIIT.
I think that's very nicely. You mentioned that every incubation center is rightly supporting the way Karuna mentioned. And my view about Anubhav and Karuna is similar, that we all are there just to support in whatsoever way to create better and better entrepreneurs, ventures, and create more employment. Rahul, there has been a lot of engagement from the GitHub Hub. And there's been a lot of engagement for startup ecosystem, particularly in the last couple of years, and both nationally and as well as globally, GitHub is playing and impacting startup ecosystem. If you can just come up with few relative discussion on this, we'll be happy to hear.
Sure. Thanks, Shiva. Thanks, Headstart, for setting this up. Well, I'll just give you a brief background in terms of what GitHub for Startups is. We're quite nascent. Back into 2020, November 2020, GitHub India started GitHub Accelerate, which is now rebranded as GitHub for Startups. And we started as a pilot just to see how can we help the Indian startup ecosystem. So here, as how we place ourselves as a catalyst. The entire country is an ecosystem, tech ecosystem, and how we can help startups in their journey is what we were looking at. We started off giving them access to the enterprise level GitHub plans, and we have seen large corporations, they're all using GitHub, and well, GitHub, in terms of GitHub for Accelerate program, we are offering GitHub enterprise level for 1 year for free for the startups, along with technical support, how we can help them in terms of setting up their repos, how can we help them automate their code. So that's more about what we are doing as of now.
I think that's great to hear, Rahul. And I think the way corporates are playing a role is very important, because as I started off, incubation centers without the support of government, of course, there's a big role to play. And the corporate inclusion and their support is very important, because eventually these startups need to be in the market, compete, and go along. So the inclusion of corporate and their interest is very important. And if the international arena is brought into it's there in India, it will of course give a lot of more outreach for our startups in the international front. Abhinav, there's a question for you again. How do you see, we would like to know more about some of the funded acceleration programs your team is running, and something what you see as the future of the startups to scale, and how IIIT has been enabling the startup ecosystem by having a three-way co-innovation model. Like I said, corporate is very important. You are already doing that. We are also trying to build that setup. Karuna is also discussing the same, that how corporate research and startups can go along, and how are you successfully doing that? Can you just share your experience and learning? Everyone can understand that better.
Sure, Shiva. So I mean, you people are also doing amazing job. All the incubators across India. Now there's no. I am of a belief that there is no competition here. Which incubator is better or which incubator is bad? Everyone is trying to figure out. Not that we have been there since 2008, but if you ask me, if we have figured out the metrics on what exactly we will do to create unicorns or unicorns, Hyderabad would have been flourishing with unicorns by now, which is not the case exactly. We got our first two very recently, being Darwin Box and Gainsight. So I mean, it's a two-way. So I was going through your question. So it's a two-way road. Okay, you build a very amazing product, but if you don't understand your market, it's like digging the tunnel from two sides. If you're not digging it equally from the two sides, you'll end up digging the part where you are very amazing with your product, but you don't know whether the market needs it or not. on the other side, if you're only doing market and the product is not ready, so even when the market demands the product, you are not ready for the market exactly. So where this three-way innovation model works is, on one side you have a research-backed institution or a research-backed product. On the other side, the corporate is there, which is outside in the market and figuring out things to do and innovate through its corporate innovation team and all. Now, in these two, the startup becomes a bridge where, okay, this is the solution that you're looking forward. You came to Triple IT, or you went to Karuna, or you went to Shiva, and saying that, this is the problem area that we are looking forward. And how exactly can your startup help us to build this particular solution? So now, starting a particular team or a division for a corporate would be a little tough, rather than working closely with an incubator in a set program, where these are my problem areas that we are looking to sort out. Can you source us few startups which can exactly help? Now, if that help is only happening on the basis of you come, you show your product, and then we will get back to you, which nobody ever gets back. So then there's a problem. There is as an incubator, we should make sure every corporate that is coming should put money on the table. It's not a free window shopping that is happening for these startups. And that's when you create that association that, okay, we do have startups that will provide solutions to you, but it's not a free POC model, or it's not something that you can do it for free. We run it. We have a team to take care of. We will get startups that will source it for you. We'll mentor them. We'll get them the right tweaks with the help of the tech research institutions, or whatever Shiv Nadar's institution has a strong hold on. We are known for that. We will help the startup to get to that point, and that all these things required a program approach. It can't be ad hoc that one day somebody visited and this is the particular startup I like, I want to pick it up, and then things don't work out, your startup didn't work out. No. So when it's a programmed approach, when the approach is where it's the deliverables from the incubator, the startup, and the corporate is defined, it's a very structured way to associate with that particular company. It can be through CSR, it can be through corporate innovation fund, it can be through anything, until unless that process is defined and it is not just sticking off few KRAs and KPIs to just please their bosses. The things will run very smooth, and startups will actually gain a lot of traction. So that, because any startup that is working, there is always a very strong counterpart which can help it grow in multi-potential level. So that's my take on it. I hope I answered your question.
Yes. So I think when you began that there is no competition, of course, we work on a model which is more towards supporting each other, and we call it more towards cooperation, where we have a web network which is better if we have more incubation centers, more people to support each other. So we never compete, we just try to build more and more such connections and take it up. So I think you rightly said that it's two sides from a tunnel, and we need to dig it in the right way. So over to Karuna again. So Karuna, your engagement with IIT Kharagpur, how do you take that startups are working in cyber physical systems? This is a very new term for a common man. How do you scout out these startups, and how are you impacting the daily life also with these kind of startup setups, and how do you relate to Indian tech? So there's three questions for you. Yeah.
Okay, so like I am associated with IIT Roorkee. You just mentioned IIT Kharagpur, so let me be clear on that.
There is a person from Triple IT and IT. I'm messing up with these words. I'm sorry.
I think that's
no, Shiba, we are with you. It's okay. Go ahead.
It happens, right? So okay, so I just wanted to. You said that cyber physical system is a new term. Actually, yes, if you don't understand it, but if we look around us, we are daily using it. Like in everything, there is cyber physical system aspect. It's just that the common man doesn't understand the term, the technical term, that what is cyber physical system. So if I need to put this in a simple words, then if we are combining any cyber elements with any materials and objects, devices, so that makes your cyber physical element. So It could include, sensors, use of sensors, actuators, or maybe you're using AI, ML, data sciences. Robotics can be a part of that invention. You're making ideally anything smart. So if you're turning a device into a smart device using these cyber components, that comes under cyber physical system. So for example, like if you talk about this, India has this problem of diabetes, right? And nowadays you see that earlier it was a very long process. Now there are a lot of companies who are providing this testing kits which you can use and just test at home. You don't need to go to any lab. So they have that display also. They'll do everything. So that is a way, you can say that cyber physical angle has worked. Then I have a friend, he's associated with Headstart for a long time now. So he developed a ECG machine. He also came in this Shark Tank and all. So that is also where you have just made something very smart, portable, easy to use, carry, affordable, of course. So that makes it fall into this cyber physical system. So I say that it is a very, very, very broad area. We cannot limit cyber physical system. And looking at today's needs, I think most of the things fall under this domain. It's just that our understanding is limited to the term. It looks like, okay, what is cyber physical system? But anything which, ideally everything you're working today has these sensors to make it smart, or an actuator is being used. So robotics is an essential part. You have done some programming on it. You have trained your software or algorithm using AI or ML. So that falls in the cyber physical system. And I think we have a lot of ongoing projects and startups who are working in this. Likewise, Anubhav mentioned right now that it is a two-way process. So we are also trying to do that. We are trying to connect the industry and government with the startups. So we did this for a Bangalore-based startup. It's called as Spartex. So we generally receive problem statements from industries and government of India. So they have given us a list. So ideally, we float a call, or if we know a startup who works in that particular domain, we contact that startup that, okay, can you do this for us? So they'll just tell, okay, if they can or they cannot, they'll present it in front of us and we work out the details. And, in a way, I don't know how startup world works, but my association has mostly been into government sector. So I can say that earlier there, IIT Roorkee has a lot of consultancy projects. Every IIT, or I think every institute, has these consultancy projects which they run out. So normally professors used to take these consultancy projects from industries and work on it. So what I personally feel is that they have a lot of things on their plate, and they cannot be actually 100% dedicated at a time totally to that, because they have a lot of other things also. So there we have tried to introduce startups right now, that startups can also take these consultancy projects which we receive, and they can deliver it very fast. So we received a problem statement from government of Uttarakhand, and so we floated that statement, and that startup worked on it, and we have developed a good prototype of that, and now that is into a second stage. So the first initial stage, the problem was received and the startup worked on it. They made a prototype of it, a proof of concept was presented. And then government liked it and they said, okay, they want to go ahead with this project, and something like that is under work right now. The second stage we are going through. So I think that is also a good aspect which we can cover under this. And sorry, what was the second part of your question? Okay. Besides cyber physical?
So it was more that how are you taking up the startup? So I think that's one of what's covered, that how are you managing? And of course, how revolutionary products are coming up. So you definitely mentioned that smart products are coming up. So everything which is in cyber physical systems is part of it.
Definitely. I think it's a very common way to put this, that I believe that innovation involves that doing the normal things which we do every day a little bit better. It's my personal stake that it doesn't mean that you have to create something entirely new or something which is, a very you don't need to create something new. It's just that whatever you're doing on daily basis, you need to just put it in a better form. So daily, day by day, if you're just evolving in that particular manner, that you're creating something better, a better version of the previous version, that is also innovation in my point of view.
So you rightly said, that's what innovation is doing, and upgrading the existing and solving the problem, doing the things faster, easier, economical way. I think that's absolutely what you tried to say.
And I think if we are able to solve any anything which can create a social impact, then that is really good. Right now, we are also working on a project. So there's a startup. It's in a process of being formation now. So what they are doing is that they're making a cathedral-based testing device, right? So normally, if you have any issues, medical issues related to viruses, so you cannot detect it unless you go for a lab test. So that is going to be a very portable and easy to use strip-based, cathedral-based testing device. So I think that is also, you have just made something smarter. So the thing already existed, you're just making it smarter. So that is all what cyber physical systems is all about.
Making life easier in layman's terms. That's amazing, amazing. I think that's what we are also looking forward to. You said, like the way you mentioned that we should take up the problems towards startups. That's what we are also keenly looking into, that how the problems, be it government consultings or corporate consulting, where startups can play a role. And I totally agree that they'll be faster than the usual ones, and they have very smart solutions to cover up the gaps and the problem statements. I think that's,
and I think their operations can be very smooth. If I compare it with the normal system which we work in government system, it is going to take a lot of resources. It is going to take a lot of time to be like it is very true, right? That is going to happen. So when we go to startup and we ask them that, okay, we need this in 2 months, so they're happily ready that, okay, we'll do it. So anyhow, they have that zeal that, they are going to provide it with us. So this concept also is working, and it's just that I think through Headstart also, when I got associated with Headstart, our hub got associated with Headstart. So we were looking forward to this kind of collaboration also, that if we have an idea and somebody is paying us for that idea, so let us go to a startup and we can act as a facilitator over there, that you don't need to come to us with an idea, we'll come to you with an idea and you work on that. You need to have the expertise to work on that.
That's amazing. So Karuna, we are also looking for similar setup with corporates, that we are looking for their problem statements, and we look forward for startups to come up with a solution. Maybe faculty members or their mentors could be an add-on, and of course students can be the interns or group of people who can help them with more extended teams. That's wonderful to hear from you as well. So I'll quickly move to Rahul. Rahul, GitHub is creating a lot of open source communities, or all about 1,000 open source communities. How do you feel these resource tools can be can be a very helpful source for the people who have never used it, and especially the entrepreneurs, how they can use and access it and add on to these sources as well?
If I understand you right, do you mean how these entrepreneurs, they can leverage the communities on GitHub?
Yes, open source data communities which the GitHub is creating, and how they can also be
Okay, so GitHub is a platform. We do not create these communities ourselves. So these are communities which have been created by the users, the platform users, which are majorly developers and coders. GitHub is the largest platform for coding platform right now, and it has over 73 million coders on the platform. So, and there are more than 1,000. So if you've read the numbers on the website, these are the top 1,000 communities. Otherwise, the number is far more. How I would just bring it down in two different ways, two different approaches, how an entrepreneur or a tech budding entrepreneur can utilize these communities. One is contributing towards a community. It's not just all taken, that you go there and ask for stuff and you'll get it. It's more on the lines that you engage with the communities, you talk to them, you contribute, and at the end of it, that's how you get back from the community. That is one angle. Another angle is not just limiting to hiring people on these communities for your company or looking for solutions. It is also, if you look at broader side, you can use these communities for your POCs, for testing. In terms, you have a product, uh, you want people to use it, you want to get feedback on your product if you are going in the right direction or not. So this is how you can leverage the communities which are there on GitHub.
All right. I think that's what we are also doing, that on and on networking, connections and things can be taken up.
And another thing I'd like to add is,
Yeah.
So we have something called GitHub Grants. Last year, we had given out 1 crore in GitHub Grants to individual contributors or individual developers, those who have created some kind of tool or some kind of an app which you might be using. So here, and we have something called GitHub sponsors. So Anubhav can go in and sponsor a developer. He can pay him money to support him keep developing an open source product.
I think with this, I'll ask Anubhav. I just read he's part of IOCL Startup Fund. So if you can just share something on that, how any startup can pitch their ideas and what supports can they expect, maybe a little bit on the procedure as well. We are not able to hear you, Anubhav. I think you are mute.
I'm sorry. So approximately about 100 or odd startups that they are planning to support in the area of energy and sustainable energy and EV or anything that can help with them with in their supply chain and logistics process, or enhancing their overall system. So those are the kind of so the grants can go from 2 to 10 CR to each startup. It's a grant, it's not a and it's a pretty simple process. I mean, they have a website called Indian Oil fund website. From there startups can apply. So any startup that can so say for instance, even an enterprise SaaS startup, if it is helping them with their documentation process and other things, that also they are willing to explore. So I got appointed on the committee recently. I'm the L1 and L2 committee member, where we select a bunch of them and then we finalize that, okay, these are the ones that will be. So I'm the only external member on the Indian Oil committee right now. So that's there. They have money. I mean, 100 to 100 CR is what the kind of investments they can do. So the focus areas are that only, like either helping each of these companies in their asset management or logistics or supply chain, or enterprise SaaS organizations that can help them with other areas that they are working in. Or else, if you are a company which is into sustainability and all that, those are the kind of companies that get grants to it. Now, Shiva, I guess I missed your question where you asked how do we support medtech startups. I went on a different tangent altogether, but yeah. So the whole idea is to either support them through acceleration, IIIT's research, helping them build their algorithms. If it's say for instance AI startup which is into click a picture of the by opening your mouth, click a picture, and we can detect what oral problems you have through the models that we have trained. Those kind of startups, wearable devices. We have a medtech lab where startups can come, because these equipments are super costly for them. So it becomes a challenge for a startup to particularly get into buying these equipment. So we have set up a medtech lab, and we have set up the medtech lab, and that all the startups can leverage and use the equipment as per their health. Then there is a doctoral entrepreneurship program, which you very well know. You might be running EIR program. So we have under that same EIR scheme, we have figured out, okay, if somebody is an MBBS or has done his PhD or so and wants to try their hands on entrepreneurship, and they have the idea, they have what they want to do, but they need the technology or the EIR kind of support to help them convert it into a startup. So that kind of program we run. accelerator as it is. We invest between 10 to 40 lakhs in each of these startups. It is a OJS accelerator program. We put in 10 to 15, and then we expect our investment partners, which are VC funds usually, to commit the same amount, and that's how we enable the help. We help them with clinical trials, connecting them to hospitals, giving them market access and all that. So as I said, all of you will be doing the similar thing in different domains. The सारे मर्ज की एक ही दवा है. So that's what I'm saying. So yeah.
That's amazing to hear, and that's very nice of you that you came back and explained again this dawn question. That's really glad to hear that. I think that's amazing. A lot of our starters will have this is very informative, and I hope when you're saying about EIR, that's open for outside startups.
Anyone. I told you, we started for our students, and we didn't get any in the first
so
1.5 years.
That's what happened with every incubation center. We are more focused for outsiders, but that creates a lot of great innovation-based culture in the whole campus, and there are a lot of more student startups after seeing the outside startups doing pretty well. There's a lot of internships which we do. I just see one raised hand. You can unmute yourself and speak. If you would like to ask the question directly, we'd be happy to take that up.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Saket Agrawal, and I'm an electrical and electronics engineer, and I'm the founder of Air Buddy. So we are developing organic air purifiers, including plants as well as filter purification. In short, covering whole spectrum of indoor air quality, as well as providing an aesthetic feel to our customers, also an hassle-free gardening experience. So you need not to water these plants, you need not to show lights, they will be automated. And along with, currently we are also working in close with Central Pollution Control Board and Indian Association of Air Pollution Control. And we have been completed our working prototype in ITBHU previously. From 2 years we are working in this startup, and we completed our working prototype in ITBHU, and currently we are at the MVP stage. So we are about to launch our MVP model in market for commercialization. And so my question, first question from Sabia ma'am will be I'm looking forward for Startup India Seed Fund scheme, and actively I cannot see AIC-SNU name in the list of incubator list while applying to the SISFS scheme. So can you just tell me about, because as you said, you AIC-SNU is also registered with them.
Yeah, I missed your name, but yeah, we are part of the scheme, and we'll be taking up the funding probably in a month or two. So we have already announced our new batch. I hope you're aware about the criteria that startups not more than 2 years old can avail this grant. So
yes.
You should check with that as well.
So we are registered, ma'am. We registered last year only in 2021. Okay. So it's 1 year till now. We have been working on this startup for 2 years. I personally was working. Yeah.
Great. So you can apply, and we will definitely reach out. The funds are yet to be dispersed to us. So we are waiting for the funds to reach our bank account, and thereafter we'll start the process. So we'll definitely take that up. Okay. So as part of the this application process, you can apply, and we'll go for the normal incubation setup what we have it. Right.
Okay.
Great.
I think my one more question from Anubhav sir is he mentioned.
I need to check. I think Anubhav had to leave.
Yeah, I'm here. I can take this question after that.
All right, Anubhav. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So and also you mentioned medtech equipment. So I would really like to know what kind of equipments and facilities, a bit more detail about the equipments that you provide.
So I can send you across, you can connect with me over LinkedIn. I'll send you across the whole equipment list that we have. It's listed on our website also. That's too technical for me to talk about. Each of these equipments, I'm not, I'm not well versed with the asset list, but yeah, would be more than happy. You can take my number from either any of the Headstart team members. You can reach out to me. I'll share across all the equipments and what we do. We do have a maker lab also, which helps, again, funded by government. It's called Niti Aayog Shala. So bio 3D printers are also there, which can help you with print tissues and all that. So that level of equipments we have to support these these startups in that area. So cell testing, fume something is called. I don't exactly remember each of those equipments. Those are too technical for me. I'm not from the medical domain, just being a bakra to run that. So I'll share it across with you. You connect me with over with LinkedIn, and I'll share you across on the website also. If you go on ciiit.ac.in, CI website, you can find all our Prayas equipments, all our AR/VR lab. We have a AR/VR lab. A lot of these medical related startups, they want to test it out on the virtual this thing about how their tool is performing and all that. So AR/VR lab, hardware lab, and then this what do we call medtech lab. All these equipments are listed over there, so you can get all the details from there.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. That's all from my side.
Yeah. Hey, Shiva, I have to sign out now, and hopefully
Yes,
we are thinking all Rahul, me, Karuna, and all of us are expecting that you will host us in person in Shiv Nadar University. Enough of virtual conferences we had. We need to meet people.
I think you will enjoy the place here. Apart from being professionally aligned, you will feel like a resort feeling. I'll definitely you'll enjoy it. It's totally away from the
Rahul is all up for it.
Yeah.
So sure. Also, we are doing a big show with Bihar government. If all three of you want to come down, all travel and expenses will be taken care of. It's a Bihar startup conclave launch. So would love to host you people there. We are helping them with getting right set of incubators and accelerators to come there. So they are taking care of all the travel and stay. And it's on 11th of March. In case you are interested, just drop me a note. I'll recommend you there, and they will reach out to you with the logistical details. Rahul sir, aap bhi aa jao. We have been a part of Headstart somehow, and we never connected in person, right?
I guess
this is a good time to connect everyone. We are there.
Yeah.
Sure, I have to sign out. Okay. Karuna, pleasure connecting with you. Rahul, Shiva, all of you, wonderful guys.
Anubhav, join us over the campus. You'll enjoy. We have some lakes, horses, everything are there. You'll enjoy.
You just let us know. Me and Rahul will book the same flight, I guess.
No, we'll organize a proper event and a one-day retreat just to take you around the campus. It's 282 acres. You will enjoy being here.
Amazing. Sure, Shiva. Bye.
Bye. All right. I think Anubhav had to drop out due to some urgent work. I'll just open the house for some more questions. There's one raised hand I could see, Manoj. Manoj.
Hello. This Manoj Patel from FXM Tech Financials. I would like to know, since we are into fintech and finance domain, so who would be, interested or look at finance and fintech domain, right? One aspect, and the other aspect is we are taking we would like to take help from the students from the incubation side or the accelerator side, right? And including where we would seek on go-to-market strategy, growth hacking, marketing and sales hacking tools, or even how do we as a startup, see, we are also into kind of funding, debt funding side, home loan, property loan, business loans, right? So and now we have started helping out few of the founders raising their 1 crore, 2 crore, or even $1 million funding, right? So we are also a startup, but we are in these all kind of activities, right? So how we could even synergies with incubators, accelerators, and this kind of activities like identifying niche markets or funding that will go again define funding exercise for us itself, right? So these things also we would be looking at.
Okay. So Karuna, would you like to take up, and then I'll answer his query.
So I'm not sure, like you're telling that it's a service-based platform.
It's a service-based platform. Currently, we are helping SMEs and MSMEs to get their debt funding needs, right? So we work with 11 banks and 9 NBFCs currently, where we help them for their loan requirement. It could be a property loan, home loan, or a business loans.
Okay, so I think I am not the exact correct person to answer this, because right now we are dealing in only deep technology based startups, and we are not kind of supporting service based platforms at this moment. Maybe in future if we do, then definitely I think we can connect and work something out on that.
Sure.
But currently we are just going ahead with the deep technology based startups.
Okay, fine. No, not an issue. In fact, let's say deep technology startups who want to raise the money for 1 to 2 CR or even up to $1 million, we would be happy to collaborate with you, since we are already currently doing with few of the incubators and accelerators from India, where we are actually trying to source our files, right, and help these startups to get their funding needs as well.
So Manoj, I think you can drop your details, or me and Karuna can look into it and get back to you.
Sure. In fact,
yeah.
I hope I have already dropped a message in chat box with my
We'll check it out.
email and mobile numbers.
Right.
Sure, we can interact with.
You can do it once again right now. Also, Manoj,
sure.
Yeah. Also, for your queries on internships and things, you can get back to Headstart team. They'll connect you to our team. Shiv Nadar University has a very good structure for providing you interns. We'll do that. We will have a kind of interns, because we run 4 or 5 schools and there are a lot of interesting students. We need to check your locations and how would you take up. So we are also organizing an internship fair where startups will also participate. So maybe you can.
That will be appreciated. In fact, we are currently looking to expand on that level as well.
Right. Also, Manoj, we do deal with product-based startups with, again, tech-based, not just restricted to deep tech. But yes, given your stage of the business, the kind of valuation you hold right now, we will be launching some future programs where we'll be only focused for raising funds for startups who are in more towards the growth and scalable stage. Maybe an acceleration program where you'll fit in well, which will not be restricted to tech-based, what rightly Karuna said. But you can definitely keep watching our LinkedIn page. We'll post that up very soon in coming months.
Sure.
Stay in touch. We'll definitely get back to you. You can write for your more details. One of my team members will take a note and get back to you for internship. All right.
Sure. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. There's one more question from Sandy. Yeah. Hi, Sandy. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Hi.
I was listening to Anubhav as well as the lady Karuna. So on the cyber physical systems, so while that's a very interesting concept, it's the first time I actually heard of this. So I have 1 year back set up a company into health screening devices. So I have an MVP of one health screening device ready, and I'm working on another interesting concept of a portable health ATM. Now, would that be something that would fall in this category?
Yes, definitely that can follow in this category. And I think you can visit our website, and there is this program called Punk, as I mentioned. So that's already open. So if you want to apply, you can just visit the website.
What is the name of the program?
Punk.
Punk. So yeah, you mentioned about it.
Right.
Okay.
So you can
now the thing is that, sorry, we are based at Mumbai. And till now, for the last 1 year, it's been my own funds that I have used. But I am now looking at actually raising funding. So how would, it's the first time I've really started attending these sessions. Otherwise, we'll too be developing the product and stuff with my own funds. But how can this panel help us? So today on AIC I've applied, but the IIT Roorkee program, how can it help? Are there grants available, or is it equity funding?
So this is an equity-based funding. So if you will be shortlisted, this is going to be an equity-based funding. Like you mentioned that you are in Mumbai right now. So
Yes.
if you want to work from that, that's what I said earlier, that if you're looking for incubation right now, we have connections in IIT Mumbai incubator, so we can get you incubated over there. We have connections like we did, that is generally what we do. So if a startup is based out of a city, we contact the local nearby incubator of that place, and we connect that startup to that incubator. So funding will be, obviously we'll do an equity based funding. But if the incubation kind of support you're looking forward, you can get it done from there. So you will be virtually incubated with us, but physically incubated with that incubator.
Also, Sandy, I'll just add.
So incubation, I'm not really looking at. I've on my own office.
So that's
yeah,
really good.
My own
then
office
you can directly apply for that.
Going on. Yeah.
Then you can directly apply for that punk program, and based on your idea, that is going to be an equity-based funding.
Also, Sandy, you can also look up to the grants.
You were saying.
Yes. I hope I'm audible to you.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Sandy, there are a lot of government grants which you can explore, PIRAC, and then there are a lot of more grants, which I think you can write to us. You have already applied. You can write to the team or maybe meet us sometimes, where you can just apply and you could be eligible to receive good amount of funds based on your product. As I understood, it's already in a good shape. So you can definitely apply for good government grants. And then there are a lot of investors who would be ready to invest after a certain stage of your product. So maybe you can apply for an acceleration program. Karuna has already given you a green signal for a good amount of funding in future. So you can definitely look for acceleration program when it's already ready and taking up ahead, where people are generally looking for investments. Also, Narsi Monji Incubation Center, which is AIC again, they do some investment programs, which I saw long back, which will be pretty close to you. You can explore that if you're just looking for investment. Okay.
Yes. So I have to. I'll just take a moment more. So there are two reasons for which I need funds. One is the MVP, which is ready, so for which I need to commercialize. And the other is the other idea that I have for which I want to actually start developing. So I need funds to develop.
So I think for idea, if that idea is very good and it's which you can definitely look for some patents. I don't know if you did mention about patents, you should go ahead. And government will be the right source for your funds as grants, because it's in ideation stage. Getting a investor at ideation stage will be a struggle. But yes, grants could be availed if it is a promising research idea. For your MVP, I think you can look up to Karuna and then a couple of incubation centers at Mumbai itself. There you will definitely get some investment interest. And yes, you can be in touch with us if there is something we can do for investments in future, or even we look forward to virtual incubation centers where we connect with corporates. And also, like Karuna, we are not hesitant to take up startups who are incubated in multiple places. We go ahead with that.
Great. So I think if we can have you also as an incubator in future together, and like any startup you want to connect to us, I think we'll be happy to do that.
Sure.
You're telling me
we do work on similar model. Yeah.
And Sandy, as far as your question was, I think I can, this is particularly your choice which way you want to go ahead, but our company can help you with both. It is also a government-based company, and ideally we do not take, we don't act as a private investor. I think I'm creating that image that okay, we act as a private investor. We do not. Our concept is that this is a government money. Obviously, the money flows from government. The only sort of equity which we ask is that is a very genuine equity, just to make our company into a self-sustainable mode. So we don't go for that heavy private investment sort of things. But since I told you in the beginning that we are by default an incubator, by default we are an accelerator, by default we go for research and development. So it's a hub. So every activity is there under one company. So I think this is particularly your choice, but you can explore the options on our website.
Sure. Karuna, I sent you a LinkedIn invite. Look forward to connecting and actually taking it forward in case,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks. So I can see one more
Thanks, Shiv.
hand up. Yeah, Rajnikant. Yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hey, hi, good afternoon. This is
Hi.
Mayur. In fact, I'm the founder of Veracrum Pharma Tech. I'm a PhD in drug delivery system. So my point is currently we are working on one of the drug delivery system, which is there for, like antipsychotic nasal spray. So we have completed a product development in R&D scale, and we are very much comfort on its in vitro characteristics. Now we are looking forward for preclinical and clinical trials. So now I have a couple of points over here. Do we have or do you have any specific collaboration with some of the reputed either hospitals or universities for conducting such kind of clinical or preclinical trials? And the second point is way forward. So I'm planning to, going forward with this product for India as well as the global market. So are you like providing any such kind of seed supports or kind of collaborations under the same?
So Karuna, would you like to take?
Yeah, so I think I couldn't hear the first part of the question. Can you please repeat that for me?
Yeah, so the first question was, we are ready with the prototype, or I would say the lab scale batches ready with us. Now we are planning for preclinical and clinical trials with this particular product. So whether you have like either on your own facility or do you have any collaboration available for such kind of clinical on preclinical trials? That was my first question. And second, I think you might have heard that it's regarding the seed support. Yeah.
Right. So let me answer the first part first. So we have connections with certain hospitals, as in we are located in Roorkee. So AIMS Rishikesh is the closest one to us. But the thing is that our association with them is based on a product only. So ideally, we got a product. Somebody was working on that product. Likewise, you have mentioned that you have an idea and you need clinical support for that. So somebody came to us with that, and we got connected with this AIMS Rishikesh, and they were happy to help, and that connection is established for that particular product only as if now. So if you want to move ahead, so you can have a discussion after this with me, and maybe based on your requirement and wherever you're housed, nearby hospitals and all, you can definitely have a link. Connection could be established. That is not going to be a very big deal. Because ideally, as I mentioned earlier, the Niti Aayog has already sent a letter to all the ministries where all these TIH has been acknowledged, and the various ministries have been requested to help us and support us in every possible manners, whether it is any sort of ministries there. So definitely we can connect you to some good hospital wherever you are located. We can have a connection there only, because ideally you also won't be interested in coming here and working at AIMS Rishikesh for that kind of setup. So wherever you are, right, so you can suggest a hospital over there, we can connect you with that hospital, right? And as far as seed supports are concerned, right, we are, as I mentioned earlier, it is an equity based funding. So like whatever support you'll be seeking from us, money, that is going to be in terms of equity, in exchange for an equity. And but that equity is going to be nominal compared to, like, it is going to be as per whatever the standards of government are there. We require it just to make us self-sustainable. That's it.
All right. So I think most of the things are being answered by Karuna. Thanks, Karuna. So Rajnikant, I just want to know, where are you based out of, and what are your regional roadmaps to start your clinical trials? Maybe that way both me and Karuna can help you out. If you're focusing Delhi NCR, we do have like directly, I'm not committing that we'll bring you to the clinics, but yeah. So we do build the community connections and things. We are already HCL Healthcare is part of, like, we can easily reach out to HCL Healthcare. They are closely associated to us. And then there are a couple of more startups in our incubation center who are working on a similar lines. One is based out of Bangalore. They're looking for their testing in Delhi NCR and North region of India. So you need to be really map your requirement. Where do you want it? How do you want? Then of course it will be easier for you to pick and choose and pick that up.
Yeah, so sure, we are based in at Ahmedabad, Gujarat. So it would be really helpful if we'll have any of the either hospital or community nearby, so we can ship our samples and we'll have a good face-to-face discussion over that, because clinical and pre-clinical trials would require a really in-depth understanding on both on like ethical committees, your SMEs and the technical people. So if we can have any collaboration nearby, that would be really helpful for us. That was the one thing. And if it is not, then I think we don't mind to be there at either you have mentioned, Karuna mentioned as at AIMS Rishikesh, or you mentioned as NCR, but that's going to be to be honest, is going to be my second choice.
So are you incubated somewhere?
Yes, we have been incubated at IHUB Ahmedabad, Gujarat, basically. Sorry, IHUB Gujarat.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was my second question. Whether are you like, do I need to be incubated again with you, or a kind of co-incubation is possible, or what kind of thing is going to be happen?
See, Rajnikant, I think you should tap up Ahmedabad more through IHUB. And if you have a structured team, more towards a team where the medical, like if you're talking about clinical trials, the clinics definitely look into their team formation. So you must have a good combination where incubation center is not required to get you through their clinical trials, because few of my startups have done it their way. Now they want additional stuff, which we are doing it. For the first 100 trials, they did it themselves, and that was the case. They built up and moved to other few clinics. So I believe that I hope your certification is in right place. You have received whatever accreditation certification is required in the medical field to take up that clinical trials. Because unless all these things are in place, your team and certification, none of us will be able to help you. Because this is a risky field, we won't be able to even get you through unless all these things are in place. And then of course we can I think that's more rooted towards the idea. You don't need many people. You just need to have to walk in through, ask them, and it happens. And then your local incubation center should play some role in that. And Delhi NCR, of course, I said you don't need to come here all the time. You just need to be here for a couple of times, because your meetings will require interventions with these clinics.
Yeah, I do understand your point. In fact, I may also have to share like a product development report, what all open part of the technical side of it. Definitely, I do understand that. But yeah, so regarding this incubation, like a co-incubation kind of thing, it may be a tricky business, I believe. I'm not sure. What I'll do is I'll just connect with my spoke here in IHUB Gujarat, and then we'll see how it can be read through.
Yeah, you can reach out to us anytime. My team has already shared details. You can write to us even after Venture Challenge. We'll see how we can go for it. So, not an issue. Karuna is also accessible. You have already Karuna, you can reach out to IIT Roorkee. All
Sure.
right. So any
Sure.
more
Thanks
Thanks
so much.
Thanks, Rashmi. I think with this we come to an end of this session. It was wonderful meeting Karuna, Rahul, Anubhav also, and these were very nice discussion. Most of you must have got the insight what all incubation centers, especially the tech incubation centers, are doing in supporting startup in a wholesome way, I must say, and contributing each other more as a network rather than as a competition between the incubation centers. Thanks, Karuna. It was wonderful meeting you here, and I hope we'll stay connected. Same here with Rahul.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was wonderful meeting you. Also, all the people here in the audience, you can reach out to us through LinkedIn and through emails. My team's contact is already here. We are all accessible and we'd be happy to address your queries. Thank you. Thank you so much. Rahul, I can meet you maybe on the same link, or would you like to join a separate one?
We can, sorry, we can just coordinate separately. I have another call started, so I'll jump off there.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank
Karuna, would you like to say something in the end? I just didn't say.
So thank you so much for having me. I think I didn't have that enough time to thank you first. I should have been for having me here today, and it was lovely connecting to you. And I think I look forward that we will associate with your incubator also, since you have been doing a lot and you're like an old one and you have a good. So what problem I am facing right now with the hub is that I am not able to identify good startups. So I think you're the best person in helping me identify those good startups. So it doesn't matter you have funding, you have other things, what matters is I need to broaden that channel size. Unless I'm going to do that, I'm not going to find good startups. So I think thank you for this lovely opportunity you have given today. So I got to know a lot.
Glad to connect, and I think we'll take up this association further. So nice to meet you. Bye everyone. Yeah. Bye everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you. It's been a great session.